Hi, I'm Vanessa Chelvan and welcome to The Motherload, a 5-part podcast series by the Straits Times. This is a space for honest conversations about the juggle, the 9 to 5, the 5 to 9, and everything in between. Real talk about the mess and the magic of being a working mum. Motherhood is arguably the most significant turning point in a woman's career. After giving birth, you renegotiate your relationship with your loved ones, with yourself, and of course with work. Be it fewer work hours, a more family-friendly role, or hitting pause on your career entirely. What happens when you go from being a working mum to just mum? Today I have with me speech therapist Kristen Kiong. She's a mum of 3 who's currently mothering full-time, having taken 18 months off work when her son was born. Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
And next to her, we have mother of 2, Yong Qiao Qing. She stopped working in 2019 after having her first child, planning to go back to work soon after, but life had other plans. QQ has since returned to the workforce, but it's been quite the detour.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thanks for taking time off work to be here. Let's jump right into it. What is the hardest part of the transition from work to home or from home back to work?
So I come from a job where I have no work from home. It's just 9 to 5 at work. So I came from having colleagues and having to say hi to like 8 to 10 people a day, new people, to being at home with my baby all the time. And that was a very big change. I think it was just very quiet and a little bit lonely maybe.
Yeah.
For me, the hardest transition was to stop receiving a salary and then to see a huge amount of savings deplete faster than I had expected.
Yeah. You know, in Singapore, your education, your employer, your salary, a social currency, right, at every kopitiam table or family gathering. And, you know, Singapore as a country places a lot of value on careers and achievement. Did stepping away from work change how you saw yourself?
For sure. There was one particular incident for me that struck really deep. So a few years after I stopped working, my husband was giving me a household allowance. But I have 2 kids with special medical needs. And there was a quality of life that I refused to give up on. So I was buying organic food, organic produce. There were lots of therapy and supplements that I was buying for my kids. And about 2 or 3 years into not receiving a fixed income, there was 1 year before Chinese New Year. So I bought new clothes for the kids, like flowers and decorations for the house. And then I didn't buy clothes for myself. So during one gathering with my bunch of girlfriends, so I had this very good girlfriend who came to the gathering with a whole bunch of stuff. She said, I just got a Taobao haul, let me share with you. So she pulled out new clothes for my kids, makeup, here, clothes for you. And that was when it struck me and I broke down on the spot because I used to buy clothes and shoes every month when I was working. And then now, I had to accept handouts from friends. It was very, very grateful feeling at that point, and yet so deeply embarrassing. I was ashamed of who I became. Like, who did QQ become to not even have clothes for myself for Chinese New Year?
That was a tough time, it sounds like.
Thinking back, it was very trivial, but at that point in time, it cut really deep.
And, you know, when you decided to become stay-at-home moms, did your husband kind of encourage it, resist it? Did he leave it up to you? What was that like?
Okay, so for me, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So, you know, when I got married, I think I didn't know enough about finances. I was very like, we'll be fine. I've got savings. I can be a stay-at-home mom. And he looked at me. He's the money guy. And he was like, are you sure? It's very expensive. So he said no at first, but it took us 4 years to have a kid. And then by then he kind of come to terms with, okay, you know, let's try for you being home for a year. So it took him time to get there. I think along the way also a lot of saving and a lot of investing before we got to that point. And also because I also do I side hustle as an illustrator, so having that also helped.
He's kind of warmed up to the idea.
Yes.
Has he? Because your first child, you took a year off,
Yeah.
right? Your second child,
I went back straight away because I felt like, okay, let's see what this whole going back to work after maternity felt like. So, and then we got a helper at that point of time. And then it was so tiring that I told him I'm not doing this again with my third kid.
and so when your third kid came along,
Then we went full into like me doing this stay-at-home mom full time. Yeah.
yeah. And what about you, QQ? How did your husband react?
At first, when I told him that I wanted to take a break from work, he was supportive because at that point, the plan was just to take a few months off, recharge, and then look for work. I took a few months break, and then at that point in time, we still had plenty of savings. And I have to say that thinking back, I wasn't planning my finances really well because I planned monthly expenses. I thought I could deal with that. I didn't plan insurance. I realized that when the insurance payment came, the annual insurance came, that was something I didn't plan for. And then a few months into my break, I got pregnant. And that was my curveball. So I thought, oh no, nobody's going to hire a pregnant woman. So let me stay back a few more months until the kid is born. Then I will look for a job when my child is 3 months old. And then COVID, so same. I got a COVID baby. My second child was born with severe eczema and multiple allergies. So there were plenty of instances where she needed emergency medical assistance. If she ate the wrong thing, she could go into anaphylactic shock. So every day was living in anxiety. There were so many things that I couldn't introduce to her. We had to cook 100% of everything she ate. We had to figure out her allergens, detergents, clothes that she wore. So it was a few years of very intense, just being in survival mode. So there was no way and no bandwidth I had to go back to work, even though I was yearning to find back the part of myself that I missed and I left back.
So while you were stay-at-home mom and Kristen, for you now, you're in that moment, right? Who are you without the job title?
I'm mom.
Wow,
It's tough. It's tough. I feel like after becoming a mom, like, if I had to write a profile of myself, it always has I'm a mom of 3. Yeah, and you can't escape from that. Everything else, you have other things that you do, but I'm always a mom of 3. Yeah, and I've not left it out of a profile ever since I've become a mom.
Yeah, it's so central to who you are, right? After
Yeah.
you become a mom, that is, I guess, to me, who I am first and foremost is I am a mother, right, before any job.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I changed my social media profile to, mother of 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Women have spent the last 100 years fighting for financial independence. Does it feel almost like a betrayal to say, actually, I just want to spend these years raising my children?
Sometimes it feels a bit like it. I mean, I'm always someone who's been very hands-on. So I like to sew, I like to cook. I enjoy all these things and I laugh at it with my husband. I say, I'll make a really good woman in the 1960s. I'll be your perfect daughter-in-law. Can sew, can cook, can do everything. And I sometimes feel like the fact that, women have fought to, have an equal salary, equal everything, it sometimes feels like we've put ourselves in this position where now we have 2 things and we can't have them both at the same time. Yeah, so it's something that I always tussle with. I love my job, I want to do more of it, but that comes at the expense of my kids. And
Yes.
then I love to be at home with my kids and I love to cook because it's exciting to be able to cook something that they love. But then I do that at the expense of my working life as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that life can happen in seasons. In certain seasons, the family and the house requires you more. In certain seasons, you put more emphasis on yourself. So the hard-fought battles that women have been fighting were not lost. It gives us that choice.
Yeah.
In the past, women had only one season. After you get married, your role and your job is to be a wife and to be a mother and a daughter, and that's all. Now we get to be a wife, a mother, a daughter, and that being a primary focus sometimes. And then sometimes we get to be a worker, a doctor, a teacher, a speech therapist, an illustrator, a podcast host.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you say about seasons because, in certain seasons, you're right. Like, our kids need us more. Or in certain seasons, we are able to focus on work. But, with these thing about seasons, it's not, work and our kids, right? Kristen, you talk about, I have these two things, but I can't have them both together.
Yeah.
So it's about kind of navigating those seasons. Sometimes you're busy at home, sometimes you're busy at work. So with that, can we stop feeling guilty about wanting to be full-time mums?
I don't think the guilt can ever stop.
The guilt is both ways. When you work, you feel guilty about not being at home. And when you full-time mom, you feel guilty about not contributing to the family financially.
I don't know whether it's a women's thing, but then I realized the moment the child came out, I birthed guilt as well. So guilt became part of
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, so mom guilt came attached with the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Yes. Whatever we do, there is guilt involved. I cannot imagine doing anything without feeling guilty for something else that I'm not doing.
Yeah. The moment people hear stay-at-home mom, they kind of jump to one of two extremes, right? It's either, wow, her husband is so rich.
Yeah.
Or, now she has to depend on someone else. Or has to depend on her husband. What are some common, misconceptions about being a stay-home mom?
Yeah, I'm the classic rich demographic. Got many kids and stay at home. Must be rich. But not.
I heard the comment from somebody saying, wow, your husband very good, huh? Let you stay home, huh? Hello, bro. I went from 9 hours of work a day to 24/7 work.
Yeah. I mean, how do you address these comments? What do you even say to explain to people?
Sometimes it really depends on the mood I have that day and how long do you have?
Yeah.
Do you really know what it takes to raise a child?
Yeah.
And I realized that most often it is the men who are giving these comments that you being a stay-at-home mom, you're so lucky, your husband takes care of you.
Yeah.
But for somebody else who is also a mother to see that you are taking time off to stay home, wow.
Actually,
What a
lot of-
sacrifice.
A lot of moms say, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming from our own experience, we know it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's not a holiday.
Yeah.
What was it like going from earning your own income to having to ask your husband for money? What did this change in your marriage, your relationship, the power dynamics between you?
You go first?
Oh, putting me in the hot seat. I have to first say that it's not easy for the man also to suddenly have the household income cut in half and to have that absolute stress on one single person. It's not easy on him. But then maybe it's just me. I've got such a huge ego. I came from leading a team. I had good bonuses, and I was living comfortably. Like I said, I was buying shoes every month. To receiving a household income that I wasn't satisfied with, and I broached the topic a few times to say that, look, this amount is not enough. And then from his point of view, he would say it very factually, then you need to cut back. But I wasn't willing to cut back. So that was the end of the conversation. I wasn't willing to ask for more. And then, so I just cut into my own savings. And the scariest part was when to see your savings deplete by zeros at the back.
Yeah.
And that was,
Yeah.
I could see that you had that also.
Yeah. And I think interestingly, like, you said you had to like negotiate with your husband, right? He's like, oh, then you have to cut back. And I realized that's how men talk. They're very like point blank, this is it. So I think I was asking him like, should we buy this? Because I mean, when I look at my art business, sometimes I look at merchandising and I was like, oh, should I spend on this? Because I think maybe we can sell this. And he said something like, how much are our expenses? So does that factor into... And then I got offended. Like, I get it that it's a very logical question because he's saying, have you earned enough to justify the expenditure? But I got so offended. I was like, I haven't bought anything for myself. Why are you like telling me this? This is so that I can earn more money for us. And he was like, okay, I didn't mean it in a judgmental way. But then I said, okay, at the end of it, I think we had agreed later that it's because I'm in this position where it felt like I was asking him for money, and it felt like he was in the position of power because he had the money. And he was giving me advice, and then I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All our ego.
I could feel it.
Yeah, like for sure. So when the periods where I wasn't working, my husband didn't make me feel in any way that I shouldn't ask for money. And he's a very generous guy. He was really quite free in, okay, you want to go and do something. Or when, he would see me looking just maybe not at my best, he'd be like, go and have a facial or something. But it's just you, right? You have that pride and say, I was very independent before. Now I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get offended too if he asked me to cut back. I'm like, right, you want me to cut back here? I'll take your dinner portion out. Like, you go and settle yourself. I will just buy dinner for 3 or something. Like, it can be so triggering.
Yes.
To kind of be told, cut back. I'm like, cut back? That's not in my vocabulary. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And then, I mean, he has told me a few times, he said, like, I don't expect you to earn anything. Your role right now is to be a full-time caregiver, and that does not pay, unfortunately. Yeah, so he has been very clear, I don't expect you to earn anything. But in my head, I'm like, I still need to bring in money. Yeah. It just feels like I'm not doing my part if I don't bring it in.
I mean, I read in The Economist somewhere that, there's a lot of research out there that the hours you spend breastfeeding or tending to the kids or the household, if they were billable hours, that'd be a hell of a lot of money.
I think the estimation was $250,000 a year. Yeah, I was like, I'm
would
really
like to earn $250,000 a year.
I think it's the whole, like, if you drive them, if you have to, you schedule like TA kind of fees, it's about $250,000 a year.
I mean, so that's what it's worth, unfortunately, you cannot afford to pay me. That's why it's unpaid.
So realistically speaking, none of our households are earning enough for one person to stay back if we want the quality of life that we yearn for.
Yeah. Where do you think this mindset comes from, right? Where we equate our worth in monetary terms?
I feel like mine came from the fact that you study hard and you're supposed to have a good job, get a good income, and then contribute back. And everything was tied to how well you did in school. So then you're always told that you have to study harder, do well, so you earn money for your family.
Yeah.
And then you study hard only to graduate uni and then become a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, so that's the disjoint, I guess. Yeah.
I studied finance in university. So we have this friend or a few friends who would get like lucrative internships at investment banks, and then their salaries are known to everybody. So we all aspire to earn that certain amount of salary. And then since graduation, we would all work hard for what? For the promotion, for the appraisal, for the raise at the end of the year. And that's what we aspire to. And then when we go home, that's what our parents ask us, how much you earn now? Now got
That's
promotion.
Everybody asks you a Chinese New Year.
Yes, how much you earn now? This year bonus, how many months? So that's how we feel valued. And then from suddenly to, now you're not working. Your husband supporting you.
Then you study for what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, there was a very recent study, I think it came out in ST, where like 40% or something like that of people still equate money to success. And when you become a stay-at-home mom, that's not really how you measure things anymore. Even though in primary school, secondary school, you go to poly or JC and uni, it's like, study hard, you got to be somebody. And then at the end of it, you're like, actually, I just want to be a mother.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment when you regretted your decision, whether that was leaving work or staying home or going back?
Oh, this is a tough one.
Be honest.
I think there was a point because I gave birth to a COVID baby and then everyone had to stay home. I think when I had my first child, I was kind of excited, I have a baby now. I'm going to stay home for a year and then I can bring her out and have adventures. And then we went into lockdown. And then I felt like, for a while, I felt jealous of my colleagues who could go to work, it sounds ridiculous, but I just want to go out.
For me, I really regretted when I had that conversation with my husband when it was about finances. And I said that this is not enough. And he said, you need to cut back. And that was when I realized that, hey, this is not going to work. Somebody has to give.
Yeah.
What's the solution here? I need to earn, but I can't. I've got kids who need me desperately. I want to work. I'm working on my business, but it's not doing enough to pay me the lifestyle that I want.
Yeah.
So I guess it was then that I realized, did I take too long away?
There's this saying, oh, I need 8 hours a day away from my kids to love them better. I go to work and I come back and I'm a better mom. Do you feel that way?
Oh, yes. When I was a stay-at-home mom, my kids say that Mama is always angry.
Oh.
And I think back and I apologize to them. So I said, I'm very sorry that Mama yelled today. I'm sorry Mama shouted at you. I didn't want to. I'm really very tired. And the exhaustion of being a stay-at-home mother is unrelenting. It's continuous. The pressure is so much that if you take a step back, you would think that it's very trivial. Why are you so upset that your child is sleeping at 8:30 instead of 8? But at 8:15, the rage comes. And when you are in the shower and your child bangs on the door, Mama, I need to pee.
I need 1 minute without a mama.
Yes. I had this instance when I was in the shower and I was crying in the shower because I was so exhausted. And then my youngest, I think she was probably 3 at that time, she was banging on the door, Mama, Mama, Mama. I opened the door as hard as I could. I was dripping wet and I yelled at her, can you just wait? And then I saw her eyes drop. She looked down and there was something in her hands. It was a piece of paper, a drawing she made that says, Mama, I love you.
Oh my gosh.
And then she told me, okay, Mama, I will put this on your table, okay? You shower. And she went out of the room. And then I felt even more guilty after that.
I think the exhaustion is different though. I mean, for someone who meets many people at work a day, I remember on the car ride home with the kids, sometimes because my mom-in-law used to drive us back, and then I used to tell them I need some silence, and I felt bad because I felt like the entire day I'm solving someone else's problems and I can't solve my own kids' problems. But at home it's a different kind of overstimulation, like you say, like, it's just mama, 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 mama. You get a quiet shower, you're very lucky already.
Yes.
Why does nobody knock on Papa's door when Papa is showering?
Right.
Nobody. But this shower situation is so real. I mean, my kids yesterday they were watching a movie, and I thought, right, they're nice and quiet. I will go and take a nice long shower.
They know exactly when you leave.
They know exactly.
They need to
when you
pee.
leave.
The moment you start the shower, they need to pee.
They need to pee.
Yeah.
They can't find something. Yesterday, I had like 2 minutes in the shower by myself, and then one of the boys came and said, the movie's so scary. I'll just sit in here and I'll wait for you. So that was my shower with an audience yesterday. And, so many times I have also just lost my cool and I just need 1 minute. Nobody asked me anything. Nobody talked to me. Just keep quiet.
Yeah.
And after one of these episodes, I really lost it. I shouted. I said, nobody come and look for me. I went into my room. I shut the door. Few minutes later, I can hear this rustling sound, and they are putting papers. They are like slipping papers under the door. So I went to get the paper, thinking it will be like a, let's make up, or sometimes they'll draw hearts on the paper for me. But this was a drawing of me as a monster. With the hair and everything. Like, I looked like Ursula or something. But it was them trying to express to me, like, this is it's not going to work for us, mama. Basically. So, and then obviously that hit me, right? Is this the way my kids are going to remember me?
Yeah.
So screamy and shouty all the time. I come home from work, I'm overstimulated. So you go back and try and repair with them, right? And then they're just like, yeah, you're always shouting at us.
Yeah.
And so it's very humbling, I suppose, to kind of hear it
is.
from their perspective. Like all they want is your attention.
Yeah.
And then here she comes again, losing her cool
Or
and
sometimes
shouting.
they want to help you, but
Yeah.
we don't see it as help.
Yes.
I laughed when you said at 8:15 you're so mad. You know why? Because 8 p.m. is knock off work time. So you work overtime when they sleep at 8:30.
yeah.
And that's when I realized that's why it makes me so upset, because I'm looking forward to knock off work and then you're not sleeping. So I have to work overtime and make sure you sleep.
yeah.
But I realized that they say this is the first generation of children who have mothers who apologize to them. And we are the first generation of mothers to do that repair work. So I guess we're all working on ourselves. We
Yeah.
know we can become monsters, and we truly become
Yes.
monsters.
Yeah.
But the difference is that in this generation, we acknowledge the fact. We
Yeah.
don't hide under the table to say that. And we apologize.
Yeah.
We attempt repair. And that's why our kids are brave and feel safe enough to say that to us. I wouldn't dare to say my mother is a monster.
Yes. Yeah.
My father used to shout at us, but do we dare to tell him that he shouted at us? No.
Yeah.
But our kids now, they dare to tell us. So it means that they're feeling safe.
Yeah. Talking about your kids, did your relationship with your children change, when you went back to work? Or was there that shift, that connection? Did it do anything to that connection?
For me, my elder daughter took it really badly. She was in primary 1 when I went back to work, and I thought I phased it out really well. So she went to primary school for a few months, and then I transitioned her to full-time student care, and then I transitioned myself back to work. So I thought I had it. This is really good planning on my part. You ease your child into it. But turns out she was handling it so bad in her little mind. It was just like mama leaving me further and further away. And she couldn't take it. She went into a mental health crisis at primary 1. And it took us lots of therapy sessions to get her out of it.
Did you ever feel lonelier as a stay-at-home mom than when you were working?
A little bit, yes, I think. I say a little bit not because it isn't lonely. I think as a stay-at-home mom, you really have to seek out your own community, which is why social media is so important in this day and age. It's different, I guess, because you don't see people every day. So it helps to find other stay-at-home moms. And then once in a while, you meet for breakfast or something like that.
When I was working, we had teams, we had group discussions, we had shared goals, we had KPIs that we would work together towards. But then when you're at home, you single-handedly take on some of the most important decisions in your life about what to do with your kids and how to keep them alive. So for me, that was really very lonely, not just in the mental sense, but practically at night, at 2 a.m., sitting in front of the breast pump, looking at your child sleeping, and your husband snoring beside. I guess loneliness is the only word that you have. But then through social media, we realized that it's a collective feeling that all moms feel. And it's this collective loneliness that we feel.
I actually used to have like a night feeds club.
There is such a thing.
No, it's just like, I'll post something like, hey, anybody awake now?
Oh yeah, and then there are moms awake at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and they'll be like, oh, see you tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So after a while, you knew exactly who would be up at what time. Yeah. Or like you'll be sending a link to like, hey, by the way, there's this sale of wet wipes.
Oh yes, the Shopee links.
Lots of Shopee links being
Oh my goodness,
exchanged.
so many.
Our diapers are always, if you do a record of the orders that come in for diapers and wet
2
wipes,
a.m.
2 a.m. Yes.
Yeah.
Someone should look into that. As a breastfeeding mom, I used to be up. Obviously, you're up at all hours. And I had this one friend who gave birth 2 months after me. And so sometimes we'd be up breastfeeding or pumping at the same time, and just used to randomly text her like, oh, pumping again. And then she'd reply. And so, it's just very nice it was very nice to have that, that friend you could rely on. And, when I wasn't working, it was very lonely because all my friends are working.
Yeah.
I have no one to see in the day. My kids are napping. What do? I watch a lot of Netflix, and it just felt very, very lonely. I can't call my husband at work and say I'm bored, or you just have to kind of make your own fun, right?
Yeah.
Or otherwise it's quite isolating.
And it's like you actually look forward to you count down for your husband to come home. It's like, oh, my buddy is home.
Yeah.
And I would feel like even now sometimes I feel a bit like, oh, you're going to work tomorrow. I feel sad that you're going to work and leaving me behind.
Yeah. Let's talk about going back to work, right? About 260,000 working age women in Singapore are currently outside the workforce, according to an NTUC article on women and workplace change. Many may want to return, but they face a job market that has moved on, with employers not sure about hiring someone with a career gap. And so the bias is real, even among well-intentioned hiring managers, and reskilling programs alone don't fix it. They don't fix things like the confidence gap, the network gap, or the bias women face even before they reach the interview room. Is the motherhood penalty real?
I'm sure it is. I think many of us, like, our brains are rewired after being mums, and it work will naturally take a backseat compared to wanting to parent our children. I think that will be hard. I mean, even if we are taking a break, and even if someone offered you the same pay, same work when you come back, you've already lost that year that you've taken to be with the kids.
Yeah.
Anyone who is like, at the same level of you would have gone 1 year ahead. So there will always be a penalty.
But I think there is a big difference in terms of how we view it, depending on who the hiring manager is. Very often when I hear things like, oh, you haven't been working for a few years, those kind of comments come from males in leadership positions who have villages for them. So they actually don't know what it's like to run a family. They don't know the amount of executive functioning and skills required to run a family.
So do employers genuinely value what stay-at-home moms have built? Or is that something we just tell ourselves?
This is something we should set out to change. Because, to be honest now, no, employers don't value the negotiation skills that we have gained from negotiating with toddlers. They don't value our ability to manage stress. Our ability to function on 4 hours of sleep and be a decent person the next day.
Or put aside your emotions.
Oh yes,
from a
put
tough day
aside.
and then, kind of just soldier on. I think even like executive functioning of, having to cook a meal and manage nap schedules and make sure that everyone is rested and fed, getting the housework done throughout the day. These kind of things, or like planning and knowing when to say enough is enough. I think I would say, like, before being a mom, I was a lot more obliging to overload myself, but now I know when too much is too much, and I know how to limit what I can do, limit what I have to do so that I can do it well.
Employers sometimes worry about women's productivity dipping after they have had kids. They worry that, are you sure you can cope? But they don't know that by the time we reach office at 9 a.m., we have already checked off 15 things on our list.
We have lived a full day by 9 a.m.
We have spoke to teachers. We have put groceries in the cart. We have adjusted calendars. We have arranged for medical appointments by the time we reach the office at 9.
We've dealt with a tantrum. Or 3.
3 in your case, 2 in mine.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've become so much more productive after becoming a mom. I think your capacity just grows to deal with everything, to deal with uncertainty, to deal with emotions. You grow so much as a person. And so your capacity for dealing with all sorts of things just grows, right? And at work, I feel like, I've got my little to-do list every day. Tick, 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 I'm out.
Yes.
These are my boundaries.
Yeah.
And, I have something more important to get home to.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to think how stressed and how tired we were before kids?
Oh, we never knew.
Oh my gosh.
And now the amount of stress that we can take.
Like, what did I used to do with all that time?
All that time.
Yeah. I want to ask, is a career detour truly possible, or does it change the trajectory of your career?
If you interviewed for a job where they don't see the value in your detour, I think it also indicates what life working for that company might be. Yeah, I think if they don't value the detour, they won't value the fact that you've got many other things on your plate
Red
that are valuable
flag.
to you as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a detour is definitely possible, but there needs to be planning along the way. So what the both of us did was we had businesses along the way. For me, I volunteered often. I volunteered in places where I would help lower income women find employment. I started my own business. I ran social media accounts. I did plenty of things that I could still add value in my resume. Not that being a mother is not a value, but I needed to show that value in my resume. So keeping myself engaged and still valuable during the time of not working was important.
So if someone listening is wrestling with the decision, about being a stay-at-home mom, what advice would you give her?
I'd say if you have the means to, do it. Because I think the kids are only young ones. And there will come a day where they would have their own friends and they wouldn't want to spend as much time with us as they do now. Yeah.
Life happens in seasons. Some seasons your family needs you more. And in that meantime, know that your season will not last. There will be seasons that will change and other parts of life will require you more. Plan for that. Make accommodations, invest, keep learning, keep improving yourself, get your family involved. Who knows? It could be 1 year, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. Seasons may change and you may re-enter the workforce, or you may do something entirely different.
Yeah. I mean, to sum it up, QQ, you spoke about, having a season for everything, including being stay-at-home mothers, being a working mom. And Kristen, as we all know, childminding is a full-time job with no clock-off time, and yet we still choose to do it because it's important to be there for our children. Thank you, both of you, for sharing your experiences about, going from home to work and vice versa so openly and honestly. And becoming a stay-at-home mom is often framed as stepping away from work, but for many mothers, it isn't. It's simply a shift in where the work goes. The real question may be whether society is prepared to value the work women do when they do step away from the workforce. So what makes a good mother? Is it the one who builds a career or the one who puts it on hold? Or perhaps, after everything we've heard today, the answer isn't found in a job title or a pay slip. It's found in the countless decisions mothers make every day for the people they love. Thank you for joining us on The Motherload. See you soon.